that good evening. Here's Hudson Bird.
Quite the introduction, quite the introduction. As he said, I'm Hudson Bird. I'm president of the Alumni Board. I want to welcome, well, pretty much everyone. If you don't know, this was planned a few years ago, and there's been a few hiccups along the way, but I want to recognize everyone who's put forth an effort, members of the Board of Trust, the Alumni Board, class agents, reunion volunteers, alumni in development, parents of Webb alumni, parents of current students. The truth is, this simply could not have been done without you, and we're finally here tonight. And if you're looking for a Webb tie, I'm going to hawk these things all night long. I created this 2 years ago, and I believe they're on sale at this point. So something to find at the back there. Before we get started with tonight's events, I do want to have a quick moment of silence for those of the Webb family that have passed in the last year. Thank you very much. Before I dive into the awards, I just want to take a minute and introduce Ken Cheeseman, the head of school, and he's going to take away kind of the opening of the evening. So, without further ado, Ken.
Thank you, Hudson. So I want to thank all of you for joining us on this beautiful October evening. It indeed is a great day to celebrate the Webb School family. I want to congratulate our John B. Harden Service Award winners and our Distinguished Alumni Society inductees, who will be introduced to you in great detail in just a few minutes. These men and women have done what their Webb faculty hoped for and intended for them. They embraced the many important lessons that they learned in and out of the classroom here at the Webb School. And they forged the kind of character that really is emblematic of a Webb graduate. That character, combined with their talents and their passions, have impacted their communities in profoundly positive ways. Not only have they done as Sonny Webb wanted them to do, pedigreed their ancestors well, but they are inspiring this generation of Webb students to have the same kind of passionate purpose that makes our world a better place. And so I say thank you and congratulations to all of them. And Hudson, thank you for emceeing this evening and all these recognitions. And thank all of you for your support and encouragement of a Webb education. Thank you. Enjoy the evening.
It is my pleasure to introduce to you this evening the recipients of the John B. Harden Service Award for 2020. Obviously, we're a little delayed, so we're going to go back and induct those and then induct the current year. First is John B. Harden Service Award recipients. The purpose of the John B. Harden Service Award is to recognize and honor those alumni and members of the community who have consistently contributed an exceptional amount of time and talent to Webb, and whose efforts benefit students, enhance campus life, and reaffirm the commitment of the Webb community. Our first recipient is Charles Alexander from the class of 1968. Charles of Brooklyn, New York is a freelance writer and editor. After receiving a BA in economics from Harvard, he taught at Webb and then Montgomery Bell Academy in Nashville before changing careers by getting an MS in journalism from Columbia in 1977. For 23 years, Charles was a reporter, writer, editor at Time magazine. During his tenure, he became business editor, then science editor, and finally, international editor. All the while, Charles was no stranger on the Webb campus. Over the years, he gave several chapel talks and delivered the 2008 commencement address. In 2018, he sponsored a field trip for a group of Webb students who wanted to attend the March for Our Lives, and he joined the students in our nation's capital for a lesson on political activism. Charles is a major financial contributor to the school. He sponsored the Student Center Alexander Cafe in memory of his parents, and led the fundraising drives that paid for the Craig Farrell Science Office and Wendell Haynes Hall. He orchestrated the class of 1968's donation of the McDonnell Fallen Scholars Program. For 9 years, he was a Webb trustee, serving on the governance committee and chairing the academic and student affairs committee. He is particularly proud to have been on the head of school search committee that recommended the hiring of Ray Barrhead and our current head, Ken Cheeseman. Charles is not with us in person, but did send a brief video that we will share here in just a moment. I am honored to accept this award on his behalf.
Good evening from Brooklyn to my fellow alumni and the entire Webb community gathered in Beaufort for this great 150 celebration. I wish I could be there with you, but this virus thing has limited my travel for a while now. I see that Tennessee is doing much better, so I hope to get back to my home state and see some of you folks in the flesh real soon. I'm very happy that you considered me worthy of this honor. As I've said many times, I consider Webb responsible, either directly or indirectly, for all the success I've had in life. In fact, all the happiness I've had in life. Because I never would have met the particular wife I met or have the particular family that I have if Webb had not put me on the particular path that it did. Shelbyville Central would not have put me on that path. So I'm glad that over the years I've been able to give a little bit back to the school that gave me so much. The Hardin Award is special to me for a couple reasons. It's named for John Harden, who was chairman of the Webb Board of Trustees during part of the time when my mother worked at Webb. And during that time, he was very kind to my mother and very kind to me. I'm also very pleased to be sharing this award with my good friend George Pine, who in so many ways is the most remarkable member of the great class of '68, as he always calls it. I'm going to resist the temptation to get up on a soapbox tonight, but I do want to leave you with one wish. I hope that Webb will continue to teach its students, as it taught me, to believe in knowledge, including science, and to believe in democracy. Thank you so much for this great honor, and I hope you all have a wonderful time tonight.
Very well said. In addition to Mr. Alexander, we have another member of the class of 1968, which by all accounts was a standout class. But the second recipient of the 2020 John B. Hardin Service Award is George Pine from the same class. During his 37-year career in radio, George of North Palm Beach, Florida, owned 6 radio stations in Mississippi, North Carolina, and Florida. He was also one of the industry's leading executives. In 2003, he became president and chief operating officer of Interep, the nation's largest independent advertising sales and marketing company, specializing in radio, the internet, and complementary media, with offices in 16 states. A native of Lake Village, Arkansas, I've actually visited that small little town. His father, George Pine Jr., was a 1945 Webb graduate. Pine enrolled at Webb in 1964. He received his BS degree in television and radio at Ithaca College. He began serving as a trustee in 1973 and later served on the Governance, Development, and Building and Grounds committees and continued to serve as a trustee on the executive committee member. George has long supported Webb and was Webb Fund Chair in 1995 and 96. He has been a campaign cabinet member, was named a Distinguished Alumni in 2000. He is a member of the school's Burkhead Society that recognizes all those individuals who have confirmed their intention to make Webb a beneficiary and faithful Webb auction donor. Webb is with his family in Monaco now and is unable to be with us in person, but has also sent a video to share with us this evening. I am again honored to accept this award on his behalf.
My name is George Pine. The George Pine with my classmate Charles Alexander, the ones you have chosen to be honored with the John Hardin Service Award. It is a privilege to be part of the Webb School legacy, a legacy we have held preciously in our heart for all our lives. I am deeply touched by your recognition. I will help with my best efforts to carry on the continuity of the best education I have received for new students to come. With all my thanks.
Thank you. And now we will move on to the 2020 inductees of the Distinguished Alumni Society. The Distinguished Alumni Society recognizes and honors those alumni who demonstrate outstanding leadership beyond the Webb School community. Members in the Distinguished Alumni Society is awarded by the Alumni Board and the Board of Trustees. Members of the Distinguished Alumni Society include WEM alumni who, through personal commitment, work ethic, service, have achieved significant success in their professional careers and have made an outstanding contribution in their communities, demonstrating Sony's vision of bringing honor to themselves and to the Webb School. Our first inductee to the Distinguished Alumni Society is Irvin Ashford Jr. from the class of 1987, otherwise known as Irv. Irv is from Dallas, Texas, serves as Chief Community Officer for Comerica Bank. In his role, he oversees community reinvestment nationally and all associated activities, including development, lending, community investment, volunteerism, and data analysis. Additionally, Irv leads Comerica's Diversity Business Research Group. He joined Comerica Bank in 2000 and has continued to strengthen relationships with the communities served by Comerica through various financial education and community development initiatives. Irv remains a pillar in the community, aiding various civic and community groups that include serving on the board of directors of the Texas Women's Empowerment Foundation, the Dallas Theater Center, Focus on Teens. He also is a board of trustees member for the Webb School, where he was one of the school's first African American graduates. Ashford previously served on the school's alumni board with yours truly. Irv is a Woodrow Wilson International Studies and Public Policy Fellow, an American Marshall Fellow, and British American Project Fellow. A graduate of Oberlin College in Oberlin, Ohio, Ashford earned dual master's degrees, Public Affairs from the University of Texas and Business Administration from the University of Dallas. In 2020, Savoy Magazine recognized Irv as one of its 2020 most influential Black executives in corporate America. And Irv, if you'll please step forward to receive the award.
How y'all doing? So first, I'd like to say thank you. Thank you, Webb family, for blessing me and my family with this award. It really means a lot to me. I think I would tell you, when I graduated in 1987, I was trying to figure out, what does Webb mean? Like, what was all of that about? And about 10 years later, I was at my grandmother's house in Harlem, and this was around Christmas, and she was writing a handwritten note to Webb and sending money, $25 or something, saying thank you for letting my boy come to your school. And for years I've tried to figure out what that meant. Why did my grandmother do that? I've spent the last 37 years basically trying to make my grandmother, my family, my friends, and you all proud of all of my accomplishments. And I think I've done, a good job. I can tell you that, I've always had a hand in the game. And I've done some fantastic things over the years. I traveled the world I received recognition from Wall Street. I made it to the C-suite. I've been named one of the most, executives in corporate America. I've thrown out the first pitch at a baseball game. It was the Tigers versus the Orioles. I made a strike. Just so you know, in case y'all want to test me, I'm pretty good. I've done some other things as well. I've raised a national Taekwondo champion. I've raised, he's 15, he's an honor student, and he's a football player. I have a daughter who's 21, and she's a fashionista. She's also a musician and a makeup artist, and she's just fabulous. Lastly, I have a son, 24, and he was the one I thought would most attend Webb. He's got that Webb thing going on, and he defied me. He didn't come, but he did get into the top 10 schools of in the United States and decided on going to Yale for graduate school. And so I can tell you that I use some of the things I learned here at Webb to help coach him, to his station now. I'm married well. I got a lady that loves me, who pushes me, who checks me when I get too big for my britches. She'll tell me, you gotta chill out, man. And I think lastly, I've made a career of giving voice to the voiceless and an ear to people that need to be heard. So when I think back about why my grandmother was writing those letters to Webb, she knew something at that time that I didn't know. She knew that Webb gave me an opportunity to pedigree my ancestors. So I thank you all for the opportunity, and I'm happy to be here with you. Hope you enjoy your evening.
Thank you so much, Herb. Our next inductee to Distinguished Alumni Society is Bill Harden from the class of 1979. And buckle up, because there's a lot to say. Bill is a Western Florida intern dean of the Chapman Graduate School of Business at Florida International University College of Business. Is the founding director of the Tibor and Sheila Hollow School of Real Estate, is a Knight Ridder Eminent Scholar of a Tibor and Sheila Hollow Fellow, is a noted expert in commercial real estate, mortgage choice and finance, real estate brokerage, real estate finance, real estate pricing, and valuation. Bill has an extensive publication record in the top real estate journals. His work has been published in Real Estate Economics, Journal of Real Estate Finance and Economics, Journal of Real Estate Research, Journal of Real Estate Portfolio Management, among others. Prior to joining the faculty at Florida International University, Bill held the Robert W. Warren Chair of Real Estate at Mississippi State University, where he directed both the real estate and construction management programs and served on the faculty of Morehouse College in Atlanta, Georgia. Bill received a Bachelor of Arts, Economics and Political Science at the University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill, Master International Business at University of South Carolina, and in South Carolina, a Real Estate and PhD Business Administration at Georgia State University. His family bond with Webb is strong and began when his great uncles attended the school in the 1910s and 20s. He has continued with his father, William G. Harden Jr. in 52, and with his daughter Josephine in 2015. He served on the Alumni Board and is a current member of the Board of Trustees. So Bill, after I have nothing else to say, please come forth for your award.
I really don't have much to say, to be quite honest. Many of you know that I don't really do a lot of speaking and I don't really say much. But this is an honor for me. My family has been coming here for 100 years. But let me get started. But it is, no, but I mean, it really is meaningful to me. I've had a lot of awards, but this is family. This is where I've been. This is where I share with my aunts, my uncles, my cousins. It's the Webb School. It's Middle Tennessee. I've been all over the world. I've traveled to almost every continent except for the one that never is always cold, Antarctica. I've got great friends from all over the world. And it really is very important for me to have this recognition. There are a couple of things, however, that I'm concerned about with regard to Webb School. And number one is, they told me I only had 2 or 3 minutes to speak. And I have a lot more than 2 or 3 minutes of wisdom to share tonight. But I also know that I can actually expand on that and spend the next 20 or 30 minutes, enlightening everyone about what they should or should not do. But I'm not going to do that. What I am going to say is, what I learned from Webb is integrity, transparency, saying what you believe in, being straightforward, and being open to new things. My life has been much improved by being open to new things. So I really think that is probably the greatest gift of all, is to be open to new people, to new things, to new ideas, to new countries, to new cultures. And I think that's what we're trying to do at Webb today. We're trying to raise money so that students can go out and do an adventure in Europe, in Asia, student exchanges, provide those opportunities, because the world is a great big place and there are a lot of great things going on. And fundamentally, we live in a world of humanity. And I've been all over the world, and I've had people reach out to me and simply say, nice to meet you. Can I do this? Can I do that? And that's what we're talking about and what it should be for the Webb School. I do have one caveat for everyone out there. Learn statistics, okay? And the truth of the matter is, when you hear about blockchain and machine learning and AI and all the things, and one of the greatest things that I was able to do is really learn statistics, not just math, but statistics, inferential statistics. What identifies the true science, what identifies how to make a decision, all those things are very important to me. I'm a logical thinker, and I just happen to be open to learning how to do that. So I know we teach statistics at the Webb School, but when you hear about everything that's going on out there and you hear your kids and you talk about high tech and DeFi and blockchain and cryptocurrency, a lot of that is all about it's all statistics. And I just think that's something that I've learned over the last 30 or 40 years, and it came from Webb School, came from being here. So, thank you.
Thank you so much. I just want to say congratulations to our 2020 Hardin Service Award recipients and Distinguished Alumni Society inductees. At this time, Libby Willis from the class of 1980, and also this year's reunion chair, as well as the Alumni Board Vice President, who, let's be honest, she's really the puppet master behind the curtain here. It's not me. Will announce the 2020 award recipients and our special reunion awards. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Hudson. It's my pleasure to add my welcome to all of you on behalf of the Reunion Committee, and it's my honor to announce the 2021 Hardin Servant recipient and the 2021 inductees into the Distinguished Alumni Society. Brian Wofford is our 2021 recipient of the John B. Hardin Service Award. Brian estimates that as an outdoor program director, he led or directed nearly 650 outdoor program trips in his 32 years tenure from 1985 to 2017 at Webb, and assisted with another 40 since his retirement. He created the Wilderness Instruction and Leadership Program, WILD, with the help of Bill Rice, Michael Morgan, and Albert Kautz, and was the WILD teacher until his retirement. He continued part-time at Webb until 2020 and has been a volunteer since that time. While at Webb, he was also a 7th grade science teacher for 30 years. He taught English as a second language, science, and was a forestry teacher. He participated in 10 summer schools, lived on campus for 2 years working in the dorms. Rounding out his service to Webb, he helped chaperone and/or drive the bus for many non-outdoor programs, off-campus trips, including a few to Washington, D.C. Wofford, who graduated from the University of Tennessee and Southern Adventist University, began his career with the Tennessee Department of Conservation in 1978, then worked at the Chattanooga Nature Center until 1985. He and his wife, Ruth, have 2 daughters, Amanda Wofford, class of 2009, and Brianna Wofford Taylor, class of 2011. Mr. Wofford, if you would please come up.
So in '85, Mr. Hefner and Mr. Coggins hired me as the director of the outdoor program here at the Webb School, at that time known as Outer Limits. So I started in June of that year, and after about 3 years and 70 trips later, things were going pretty well. We continued to build on the program, and after a couple of more years, we had a change of school. We welcomed Mr. Frere as our headmaster. Mr. Frere came in, and after about a year, he decided that everyone on the faculty should be teaching something, not just coaching or directing the outdoor program, but teaching an actual class. So I got the assignment to teach 7th grade science and ESL science. Also, that began to really change my role, and things began to get quite different. The faculty originally had a hard time figuring out where I was every day, since I worked on weekends and would not always dress up in a shirt and tie. But after I became a faculty member and was a teaching faculty, I also had to come to school in a shirt and tie every day, and they began to figure out my comings and goings a little bit easier. At that point, I also got assigned to teach a class in Linda Williams' classroom. Now, I must not have been doing a very good job teaching, because at some point Miss Williams took over my class and I became her teaching assistant. Now you might imagine that that might not go real well and something might go broke at that point, but really, Miss Williams gently and kindly taught me how to become a teacher. The whole thing turned out to be a really, really good experience. And I am extremely grateful to Miss Williams for guiding me along and pointing me in the right path to become a better teacher. Another product of becoming an actual teacher and the teaching faculty, was that I felt more embraced by the entire faculty and much more respected, because I was not only just seen as an outer part of the faculty, but they embraced me as being a working member right along shoulder to shoulder with them. So fast forward a few decades, a Navy man that was also an alumni of the school came to visit the school, Michael Morgan, and he made some brash statement to Mr. Rice, who was the chemistry teacher at the time, that, you know, I would donate to the school if I could make sure that my money would go straight to the outdoor program. Mr. Rice said, let me see if I can make that happen. So evidently there was a conversation, and the new headmaster at the time, Mr. Kauth, guaranteed that whatever money Mr. Morgan donated would go straight to the outdoor program. In that conversation, Mr. Kauth came up with the idea that the outdoor program should move right into the academic day and become a class. So I turned to Mr. Rice, who was leading many trips along with me, and he agreed to write the original curriculum for the new program. I also thought it was important to have the new program have a different name than what we were usually talking about. So I came up with the acronym WILD, and Wilderness Instruction and Leadership Development became a part of the regular academic day as a new class. And this new class really infused the outdoor program with a lot of new energy. So at this point, I haven't been able to figure out how to weave three other people in history of the outdoor program into my talk, but I would be remiss if I didn't say that the assistant headmaster, Joe Iorio, didn't guide me along the way and give me some extra help and forgive me my shortcomings when I went way over budget one year. Also, another volunteer from a peer, Bill Bingham, who led dozens and dozens, probably 70 trips for the school without pay, and became my assistant leader for almost a decade, even though he wasn't working here. And then the tone of the school changed, and Joe Griggs appeared and shadowed me for about 3 years as my assistant, and then became the director of the WILD program. So throughout my time here at Webb, I've really been able to fulfill my personal career goal to help people have a good experience in the outdoors. So I really want to thank my wife for supporting me on all these absences of going on all these trips and being able to be at the Webb School doing all this. Thank you very much.
We have two inductees into the Distinguished Alumni Society. The first is Andrew K Hoeworth from the class of 1974. Andy of Oxford, Mississippi retired in 2020 as a Mississippi Circuit Judge. He was appointed in 2002 and elected or re-elected 5 times. He assumed senior circuit judge position in 2011. During his career, he served as drug court judge, helping to rehabilitate convicted drug felons on the Mississippi Judicial College Board of Governors, and the presiding judge of the Mississippi Bar Complainants Tribunal until he retired. He graduated from the University of Mississippi with a BBA and a JD. As a lawyer, he was a former partner in Hoeworth, O'Donnell, and Walsh, and Hickman, Goza, and Gore. He served as a Mississippi Bar Commissioner and the president of the Tri-County and the Lafayette County Bar Associations. In the community, he served as president of the Oxford-Lafayette County United Way, Oxford University Bank former director, and Oxford Housing Authority former commissioner. He was also a former member of the Oxford Rotary Club and a Paul Harris Fellow. He is married to Elizabeth and has 3 grown children and 3 stepchildren. Andrew Hoeworth, if you could come forward, please.
Thank you. I feel honored, obviously, but I feel particularly honored because one of our previous recipients was told he had 2 to 3 minutes to speak. I was told I had 2 to 4 minutes to speak. So, anyway, I'm still I'm a little bit hoarse, and I apologize if my voice isn't very strong. I
last Saturday I went to Knoxville to the sportsmanship clinic at the University of Tennessee. Hotty toddy. I'm sorry, David. I apologize. That's really for basically one guy. It's for Quentin too, but he's not here, I don't think. Or any other UT fans who might be offended and want to throw something at me, I apologize, okay? I do want to thank the school, the board of trustees, the alumni board because I think you're the ones that decide who gets these awards, so thank you very much. I want to thank my wife for coming. She didn't really have much choice, but I want to thank her anyway. My son and his wife recently moved to Chattanooga, so I guilted them into coming since it's pretty close. And my daughter, God love her, she actually lives in New Orleans, so she's spending the weekend with her brother and sister-in-law, and she's here too. So I'm glad they're all here. The focus of this weekend, let me just say this, just so you'll understand. A lot of you probably already know, but I have this core group in my class, and we actually have a reunion every single year. We get together for the last 25 or 26 years, depending on who you ask, whether it's 25 or 26. And we're together not only, I guess they're here for me, I hope they are, maybe, but they're also here because we're honoring the life and remembrance of our classmate, Alan Wright. A beautiful graveside at 1 o'clock today. We weren't able to be there when he was interred because of COVID, but we had some time together and I thought it was beautiful, and I think my classmates would agree that it was. We also dedicated a bench that Alan didn't want it to be about Alan, but it was done for Alan, and that dedication of that bench over by the big room on that side, whatever direction that is. Anybody who's ever ridden in a car with me will tell you I don't really am directionally challenged, but that way, from the big room, there's a new bench, and that dedication was at 4 o'clock today, and we all remembered Alan at that moment too. Now, as far as this award is concerned, clearly it's being devalued today. The only person in my class who has won this award cured AIDS. And I'm not joking. Now, he would tell you, of course, it was a collaboration of hundreds of scientists and physicians, and maybe it was, but you get the point, right? And also, in all seriousness, it should be pointed out that I have several classmates who've done some hellaciously amazing things. And how I got in the line in front of them, I don't know, but thank you. Back to the bench, I forgot to say something. When Alan was very sick and we realized he wasn't going to make it, and he was near death, and we wanted him to know about the bench, and Kristen Linton and Jonathan Hawkins were instrumental in getting a Zoom call together, middle of COVID, getting Alan on the phone so he would know about the bench in his honor, and I thank them for that. I forgot to say that when I was talking about the bench, sorry. So I'm supposed to talk about my career for the 45 minutes I have left, and it goes like this. Sort of. I didn't disgrace myself as a lawyer, and when there was a vacancy on the Circuit Court of the 3rd Judicial District of the state of Mississippi due to the retirement of my predecessor in office, I was friends with the governor. And so I got the appointment. That was supposed to bring a laugh because it wasn't supposed to be really precisely true. I was friends with the governor. Hopefully there was some merit involved in it. And not long after taking the bench, I learned that any idiot can send people to the penitentiary. And I mean that's from the heart. To all the idiot judge friends of mine who think they're doing something special when they're sending people to the penitentiary, you're not. But there are people who, and this is not an original thought, there are people who we're afraid of who do terrible things who have to be behind bars. There's a large population of people who we're mad at, but not necessarily afraid of, who we need to find alternatives for to incarceration. And for years, we've been sending drug addicts to prison, people with mental health problems to prison, because they broke the law. You know, break the law, go do the crime, do the time. And people more farsighted than I started coming up with these diversionary courts, and I was privileged to be able to start one in my part of the state of Mississippi for people with addicts and people with mental health problems to find alternatives to incarceration. And if I did anything in my career as a judge that was meaningful, it was that. And I'm not saying I did, but I will tell you this, and my wife will tell you this, because she doesn't go to the grocery store with me anymore, because people I don't know come up to me and want to hold hands and want to pray and want to talk about saving lives. And it was an honor for me to have done that during that time. Thank you for the award.
Thank you. Our next inductee is Elizabeth Allison Tant from the class of 1987, is this year's second inductee. Betsy received a BS in education from the University of Alabama and an MS in social work from the University of Tennessee. She began her career as a teacher for at-risk children within the Davidson County, Tennessee school system. Additionally, Tant served as a social worker for the homeless youth within the Home Education Readiness and Opportunity Program, HERO, and was one of the authors of published academic research on the program's methods and results. She has also worked within the Baptist Hospital System in Knox County, Tennessee, providing education and support services for maternal and postpartum patients. As executive director of Henry's Fund, she works with the East Tennessee Foundation to identify and direct grant decisions for addiction treatment programs. Tant is active as a community educator regarding issues of youth addiction and recovery and the use of naloxone as a critical community overdose prevention tool. She worked closely with her sister Katie Allison of 1985 to create and advocate for the passage of Henry's Law, named for her late nephew Henry Grandshew, which Tennessee Governor Bill Haslam signed into law in 2018. Henry's Law stiffens penalties for drug dealers who kill minors via criminal drug distribution. Tant resides in Knoxville, and she and her husband Ray are the proud parents of Eleanor, McLean, and Nancy. Betsy. Hello. So I'm last, so kind of hard acts to follow. But as you kind of got from the introduction, this one won't be quite as giggle-worthy, but it's important to me and to my family. First, I want to say that I'm honored just to be here to receive this award. I'm kind of blown away. Can't believe that Ina Shea Bramlett Kohler nominated me, and when she let me know, I was just flabbergasted and incredibly honored. Our family has lived in Bell Buckle and been part of the Webb community for the past 4 decades. My brother Robert, class of '88, sister Katie, class of '85, and many of my cousins and nieces and nephews are all Webb alumni and members of the Ancient Guard. Much of my family, including my brother Robert, still lives here in Bell Buckle, and 2 of Robert's kids are still currently here at Webb. Many of our family members have also worked at Webb, and our entire family, our Webb friends, have always been our closest friends. Many of my family members and Webb classmates and friends are here today, and I'm thrilled to see them. For all of these reasons and more, receiving this award today is just extremely special to me. I may get a little bit emotional, and you'll understand why as this goes on. Forgive me if I do. I'd like to tell you a little bit about my nephew, Henry Granjou, in whose memory our family founded an organization called Henry's Fund. It's a nonprofit in which I serve as executive director. Henry was my sister Katie's firstborn, and he was a beautiful, brilliant boy. He was a lover of history, an avid reader, and a very talented musician. He was an excellent student and had wonderful manners. He was kind to everyone he met, had a wicked sense of humor, and loved his family fiercely. Henry had a big, loving family, attended good schools, and traveled the world. He was absolutely adored by his younger siblings and all of his cousins. My daughter Eleanor is here, and Henry's sister Jane is here, right over here, and with whom he was very, very close. And Henry especially loved Bell Buckle. It was his very favorite place in the whole world. Although he attended school in Knoxville, he spent much of his life growing up here in Bell Buckle, surrounded by family and friends. My sister Katie, his mom, often said that there's not a tree in Bell Buckle that Henry hasn't climbed. Despite all of the love and safety we believed that we were providing for him, Henry became addicted to drugs at 15, starting with marijuana and progressing to opioid pills. My beloved nephew died at only age 18 of a drug overdose. He died the same week most of his friends graduated from high school. Before this happened, our family had a mistaken belief that something like this couldn't happen to one of our children. We thought that the children from so-called good families who were surrounded by a circle of love and protection were safe from something as unthinkable as dying of a drug overdose. But what we learned as we all worked to try to help Henry and get him help so that he might break free from the monstrous disease that attacked him is that addiction can happen to any kid in any kind of family. If that child has the genes for addiction and begins experimenting with any kind of substances as a teenager. That's what happened to our sweet Henry. While other of his friends experimented with drugs along with him, but have grown up happy and healthy because they were just born with a different brain chemistry. Just a few weeks before Henry's fatal overdose, he and I went to lunch together, where he told me how much he wanted to beat this, where he told me that he was looking forward to going to college in the fall, and he wanted to study history. Henry was just a child, just as the seniors here at Webb are children. He didn't want to be addicted to drugs, and he certainly did not want any other kids to be addicted to drugs. When Henry died, we wanted to do something both to honor his memory and to help other teens battling addiction. So we created Henry's Fund. For the last 10 years, we've been educating others and raising awareness about addiction and the rapidly escalating overdose epidemic. As a nonprofit affiliated with the East Tennessee Foundation, we also provide direct funding to programs that offer evidence-based treatment to young people struggling with addiction. Next week, we will be making our latest grant to an innovative new program in Knoxville that provides support and services for teenagers in the public school system there who are in active recovery and attempting to stay sober while staying on track to graduate. I have 3 beautiful children of my own, but I always say that Henry was my first baby. He and I shared a special bond from the day of his birth until the day that he died. And I do the work that I do with Henry's Fund because I still share that bond with my nephew. So again, I thank all of the Webb community for this honor today. It's especially meaningful coming as we've gathered as alums to celebrate our school's 150th year. If you want to learn more about the work and mission of Henry's Fund, you can easily find us on Facebook where we're at Henry's Fund. That's at Henry's Fund, no apostrophe between the Y and the S. We already have many Webb friends who are part of our Henry's Fun community on Facebook, and I would love to connect with any more of you who want to join us. And I thank you all for taking the time and giving me the time to talk about Henry. Thank you. Congratulations to these outstanding Webb alumni and members of our community. Now it's my honor to announce the winners of the awards commemorating this special reunion celebration. If I call your name or your class, please come forward and receive your award. The Beaufort Gordon Oldest Alumni Award, Mr. Roy Nance, class of 1949. The Outstanding Traveler Award, and you must have RSVP'd prior to today to receive this award. This year we have 3 winners. These gentlemen have traveled a combined 7,055 miles, all traveling from California. Will Evan Harar of the class of 1961, Chris Dawkins, 1992, and Garrett King, class of 2010, come up to be recognized, please. And if Sandy Pewitt would come forward, we want to welcome you here from California as well. The Class Attendance Award goes to the class of 1974. If you would please come forward. Come on over. The Reunion Cup Award is for the highest giving percentage for the 2021 fiscal year and goes to a class with 60% participation, the class of 1961. The brave one's coming forward.
Let you take these back to your class. You're welcome. Thank you.
We would like to recognize all the class agents for your hard work and dedication to your classmates and the Webb School. Please come up and accept a gift for your time, love, and commitment to Webb. Now, come on, there's got to be a lot of you out there. David Bunton, get over here. It's not difficult. Just walk. Just walk.
There you go. Thank you so much for your There you go. We're giving away free stuff.
Wait.
Hey, Scott. Good. Hold on. Good to see you.
Track her down.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Don't you can just be running off with us.
Congratulations to all of our recipients, and I will now happily turn the program back over to Hudson.
All right, we have reached the end of the evening. I think when we started this, the sun was actually up, and now it is disappearing behind the clouds back there. So, a few things to go over. For those of you who have registered for the 150th party, it will officially begin at 7 p.m. Here in this tent. Please feel free to enjoy visiting with your friends and classmates until then. Dinner will be at 7:15. We would ask that you find your seats just a little bit before that starts. The restrooms are outside over here to the left, up the hill. It looks like a trailer with a few doors on the side of it. And the other tent is outside the Barton Athletic Center. Again, congratulations on the award recipients, inductees, and we are so thankful to have you here this evening. And again, I just want to drive home one more point. It took a long time to make this happen tonight. We were many years delayed, but it is something to be here in Bell Buckle celebrating 150 years of the Webb School. Thank you very much.
Hardin